See. Okay, we can start. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to this training session for Dynamic-BFF and Handheld application. You see my presentation?
Yes, we see the second screen, I think.
Just like the last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Share the screen. Let's share again. Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, the
Same thing.
same.
Okay. Okay, let's try another way. Is it good now?
Now it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's start. Okay, so as a quick recap of the last session, the goal of this training is to give you a first introduction to the architecture and practical use of these two projects that I and Mattia developed last year for Smile 80 product. They are available from release 1.1 and onwards. These two projects are about an execution environment that is the Dynamic-BFF. This environment was created to help developers with a simplified DSL, a domain-specific language with very simple syntax, and should help to write and create backend controllers really simple. So the objective is to write less code, just the business logic, and accomplish a lot of actions. The Handheld application instead is a dynamic and JSON-driven Android application. Its purpose is to replace the legacy Handheld application and, of course, to integrate all the Handheld management within the Smile 80 system. The requirements, of course, to benefit from this training is the knowledge of the Smile 80 product, so the architecture and its components. Let's do a quick recap of the first session agenda. So last Monday, we talked about Dynamic-BFF in details about its general architecture, what is it and how does it work. Then Mattia showed some examples, really practical examples of the scripting language of how to use Dynamic-BFF to do some operations. Then for the second part, we showed the Handheld application. Again, a general architecture, what is it and how does it work? And again, we show the programming guide, a quick overview, and some talked about some scripting language example. Today, we are going to delve into details of these examples. So I'm going to talk about some simple and progressive exercises that we could do. And lastly, we are going to talk about a Smile 80 integrated example. Let's jump into the last part of the presentation. Okay. This one. Okay, so today we are going to examine these 6 simple exercises. We will build a flow for the Handheld application to manage some crude operations on a simple SQL table. The table is the one on the left picture, of course, and we are going to examine one example at a time. So for the first one, now I'm going to share my screen. If you don't see my screen, please tell me. So we have this table here. It's very simple. Just information about persons or people, and with an ID, name, surname, etc., etc. So for the first demo exercise, we're going
Roberto,
to show. Yes.
Sorry, there is a comment from Tuan. So please just refer what the crude acronyms means, because
Yes, of course.
Will be there.
Yes.
No one does not
of course.
want.
Thanks, Tuan.
Thank you.
So we are talking about basic operations that you perform, that you can perform on a simple SQL table. So create, read, update, and delete. So this is the purpose of these 6 exercises. The first example is, of course, to obtain the read operation. So we're going to show all the people in the table with one simple, very simple list. So we're going to take a look at the list control, the load action, and on init event. I'm going to start my Dynamic-BFF. So as a recap of what we talked about last Monday, what happens when we start Dynamic-BFF? So we have the app settings.json configuration file. Inside, we can find the directory that contains all the scripts we want to load. Of course, it's this directory, develop training, just contains the menu for the handheld. It's a very simple one. As you can see, we have the 6 flows for 6 exercises with a title and an icon. Of course, we have 6 different files, each one for a demo that we are going to analyze, and a generic API file with all the backend endpoints that we are going to use in our examples. So I remind you that when we run Dynamic-BFF is going to read all these folders, merge all the files, compile, create and compile a C# generated code. I can give you an example. We are talking about a little less than 1,000 lines of script here for the training folder. This is the automatically generated C# code that Dynamic-BFF generates for us. Of course, you can find, for example, our first flow, FTM1. As you can see, this is just the menu. Or, for example, we can find our simple get that we are going to use to read people from the table. For example, here it is. So as you can see, Dynamic-BFF builds all the files into a generated C# code. It's very hard to read, of course. It's very hard coded, so it's really fast, and it is going to simplify the programming of the script for us. So we need just to focus on the business logic. We don't want to write boring and repetitive code. And of course, when we run this script, we can open it on the handheld. Now we loaded all the translations for us. Get localization, as you can see here. We're going to log in. Now it loads the configuration from this fixed endpoint, UI menu handheld. I can show you an example of the JSON that it created. Let's close this one. So this is the JSON that it is loading. So it's a little more than 3,000 lines of JSON. Of course, we have the menu, 6 flows, and we have all the flows, as you can see, with the structure, etc., etc. So it's a bit more complex, of course. As you can see, now maybe we will see some detail later about this. Okay, so let's start the first demo. So we want to read all the people from the table. Okay, let's keep the application on the right side. Let's close this one. Okay, so we have first demo flow. We can create, so a flow is made of a context section, a model, a collection section, and steps section with all the steps we want. Now we have a simple step, step 1. We are going to load people from our database on init. So we want to load people when we enter this step. We do this with this alias. Let's check it on the API.source. This one, get people one. So this is an Handheld UI endpoint. As we said last morning, this is a mandatory endpoint. We must use Handheld UI endpoints to communicate between Dynamic-BFF and the Handheld application because they share some data in a fixed way. So, for example, this one just read all people from the database and store them into this local variable called people. The query is just this. So it's a simple select ordered by surname and name, and we return the entire result set. You can check, of course, this query. It should work. Yes, it's this one, the get, of course, of 10 records from the database, ordered by surname and name. Then we want to return this collection, and we want to map this collection on this key. I remind you that when you are loading collections for the Handheld application, you must use UI map operation. You can't return straight directly this collection. You must use UI map to give it at least a key. For this example, the key is the ID, of course. It's the unique identifier of the person. So let's check the flow. We go, we load the collection, we put it into the, of course, the variable. Then we show a simple list. We give it a simple title, people list, an icon. Its source is collection.people. Of course, we want to use a simple template key value list. Let's recap what does this mean. Of course, template. Okay. This is the example I showed you last Monday for the templates. The template here we are. So if we have a simple object like this with these fields inside, and we want to return the UI map version, we can specify a key field ID a prefix to load all the labels associated with these names, for example. We can filter all the values that we want to show for the template, and we can give some style attributes to our object to modify the template in a visual way. So, for example, if we execute this UI map, we are going to obtain a key value, all the values with localize instruction. So it's the prefix dot the name, so demo dot full name and demo dot age. We get the style. Of course, it's generated for us with some instruction. For example, when gender is male, we get male. Otherwise, we get female, of course. And when gender is male, we get light blue instead of light coral. So we can see male and light blue. Then we have an hidden parameter. It's the source that contains all the original object, if we need to use it, of course. So let's see demo 1 in action. Okay, so we get into step 1. On init loads all the people for us, stores it into people, and shows it with our collection with a key value list. The key value list is it's a simple list with a key value on the left, that is the label, and the value on the right, that is the real value, of course. So we can see ID 7, name Michael, surname Brown, etc., etc. This is the simplest way you can show data on the Handheld application. We can say that our first demo is accomplished, of course. Let's jump into the second one. We want to optimize.
Roberto.
Yes.
I have a question regarding the color. Shouldn't Sophia be light coral?
No. This the example I showed you. It's from another controller. Okay. This one. It's just an example. I'll give you an example of coloring, of course. Okay. We are going to cover this with the demo 2.
Okay.
I'm going to show you now.
Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion. This one was an example from the last session. Okay, so demo 2. We want to optimize our UI layout. We want to use an expandable list and a pop-up because we know that an Handheld device has a very small screen. It is very narrow. About resolution is about 480 and 800 the vertical one. So we don't want to show useless information, of course. So we want to simplify this list. So let's jump into demo 2. Now we can see that we load people on init with this endpoint, get people 2. Let's analyze get people 2. The first part is the same. We are calling this one a simple selector. What I changed here is the UI map. Of course, it's more complex. So I'm telling it to use the ID as a key, adding a prefix. It's demo. I want to show just full name. For full name, I want to build a string. So I'm going to use this built-in function. It's a value if. So it's a check. It's a very simple check. We are telling it to check then this condition, gender equal to M. Then we are going to use Mr. or we are going to use Miss, of course. Then we chain the result of this with a blank space, the surname, another blank space, and the name, of course. Then we get the age, just simple as is. And we want to add the style, as I said. Status text, if the phone information is missing, this one is the coalesce operator. So we are telling it to check the phone variable and check it on the database. And when we find a null value, like for example, like for Emma Jones, we want to replace it with empty string. And if we get an empty string, we want to write on the right side of the list item a string, an asterisk with a phone text. And we want this status text to be colored with light color, just like a warning that the phone information is missing. About the list, what I changed is that I added this instruction. It's a binding. As you can see, I added a model variable. It's the person. So I want this variable to contain the tapped item or the selected item in the list. So I'm telling this list that it's binded to model.person. Of course, the collection, the source collection is always the same. We want to add this parameter, this visual parameter to the key value list template to show a detail on the right side. I will open now the flow. So it's loading all the people. We can see that we are just showing full name. We asked to build the list with just full name and age. Age is not showing because I added this collapse after one. So I'm telling this list that it should have an expandable or collapsible behavior. So I wanted to show just one information and an expand all button on the right corner. So when I click expand all, I'm getting the full value visible. So full name and age, of course. And I can, of course, collapse it again. The full name, as you can see, it's built with the gender, the surname, and the name. We get this template image detail. It is this icon on the right side. We get the status text and the status color phone. We have, don't remember, 3 records with a missing phone information, number 3, number 6, and number 9, of course. And we want to tap this list. So we want to add a selectable behavior to this list. This is done automatically using a binding. So when we use bind to, we are telling that this list is selectable and has, of course, a single selection mode inherited from this instruction. On tap, we want to show a pop-up with all the missing informations, of course. This pop-up is based on this template with this title, this icon on the header, and the source. It's very simple. It's the person that we selected, model.person. We are taking the source. You should remember, of course, I can show you this code, of course. Let's get an access token. Okay, so we are using UI get people to this one. So we get the key, 2 values, full name and age, status text and color, and source with the entire object. So on the pop-up, we want to show this information. And we have the pop-up, of course, with the icon info, details, and the source as the source data. This one, of course, it's number 3. Does not have a phone. Okay, so Demo 2 is done. We have explained the expandable list, the pop-up, and the on-tap event. We can jump to demo 3. It's again a read operation, and we are going to optimize our UI layout a little more, adding people, filtering, and searching. So we are going to explain what is a filterable list, what is a context button, and what is the reset action. Of course, you can find all the details about this on the programming guide. For example, if you want to check how to write a filterable list, you should check this. So you can go on step by step on this information, these parameters, and of course, you can customize the behavior on the list. So filtered collection, filterable list uses this filter parameter. So we can type filter, we can put a type, a barcode, or a simple input text box. Barcode, of course, enables the scanning from the handheld. We can filter on the key, that is the default behavior. So this is of course optional. This parameter is optional because the default is the key field. But we can filter on multiple fields if we want. We can add a bind, the filter text. We can customize the keyboard, and we can add a placeholder to show when the filter input text is empty. Of course, let's see it in the script. It's demo 3. Okay, let's open the flow. Here we have a filterable list. So what changed? I added this one, is a simple variable to contain the filter, is the text that we write in here. I added a context button. You can see down here, we have a clear button. It's down here and it's not on the body, as you can see, because I added this in the context section. So automatically it gets created as a context button, and as you can see, it is shown on the footer section. This is a shortcut. Let's see in the guide, of course. Let's jump into context section, reset button. So we can see, we can write show reset. We can write show reset all. It's the same as writing all this. So a button with this icon, this text, and this action on top. So this is not show reset all. I'm telling it to reset just these two variables, model.filter and model.person. Resetting this, what does it mean? It means that we want to reset this variable with its default value. Default value, you can write it in here like this. So I don't write a default value, just like this, it's null. But I can write, of course, something like this. So the default value for filter is ABC. And when I tap the clear button, filter parameter gets resetted to ABC, of course. Now, so default value is null and null for filter and person, of course. On init event, it's the same, get people to. What I changed in here is, of course, the filter section, as I showed you in the programming guide. So I want to filter with a barcode input text, as you can see. There's the barcode icon on the left. I want to filter on key, on name, and surname. I want my filter to be bound to this variable, model.filter. And this is the placeholder. Of course, I want to write on my text box when it is empty. So let's check this. We can filter on the name, for example, here. Yes, it's good. Okay, I can clear. So it's it has cleared the filter and the person, so the selected person, of course. I can filter on the surname. Brown. That's good. Of course, it's filtering multiple elements because of the surname and the name. Or for example, we can filter on the key. The key is the ID. Let's check this. This is 7. So if I write 7, I get Michael. If I write 8, I get Sophia. Okay. Of course, we didn't change the on-tap behavior, so I expect to find a pop-up when I tap on the item, of course. And this is demo 3. So now we have a very simple step.
Excuse me, Roberto, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Maybe I missed this part. You can erase the text box even with the backspace?
Yes, yes.
And these actions also reset the variables?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
This variable here, model.filter, is bound with this variable inside the model dictionary. So
Okay.
It's always the same value. So when I write something here, Davis, this content is available inside model.filter. So for example, if I call the Dynamic-BFF now with this situation, we know that the entire model is shared with the Dynamic-BFF because we can write something like in here, we can write something like set local dot myvar equal to model dot filter. If I call the backend now, model dot filter contains Davis.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Demo 3. Okay. Okay, let's jump to demo 4. Okay, now we finished the read part of the CRUD operations. We have a nice list of people showing just the meaningful information with a pop-up, and it tells us that some person has a missing information like the phone. Okay, let's jump to demo 4. We want to add the create operation. So the task is to add a form to store a new person with all the needed information. So we are going to show you, I'm going to show you how to use a button, a label, an input text. I'm going to show you these actions. Go to validate to do data validation, of course, show and prompt to notify the users about some information, messages, or questions. The stop action to block our flow, and the call, of course, to call the Dynamic-BFF, because the load, as we saw in the first example, is to load collections, just to load collections. So you can see that Handheld UI get people one as this specific return collection statement. This is, of course, linked to this load operation. Okay, let's jump into the example. Demo 4. Going to main menu. Okay, demo 4. So we need a step to create a user. So I'm going to build, of course, a step with all the fields I want to input. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 fields, 7 informations. So I added into the model dictionary a single variable for each parameter I need. Why do I do this? It's to have a specific validation for each field. So field name does not have a default value, so it's the same as writing equal null. Display name, yes, I want to give it a name. This is mandatory to if I want to validate this field and I want the user to be notified, for example, that this field is required. I need to give it a name, of course, a display name. Then I can say something like max length 50 characters, of course, and it's the same for each field, of course. So name, gender, max length 1, of course. Here we have a default value, hem. Field age, for example, we could say min value 18, etc., etc. So we have all the fields we need. Then we, of course, we need to change a step. We already built step 1 to show information. We need to go to step 2, of course, to create a new user. So I add a context button. For example, this one, I want to add a button with a new label, the user icon, and on top, I want it to go to step 2. So for example, if I tap here, it moves the flows to step 2. The reminder of step 1 is the same, of course. It's the same as before. Let's go into step 2. Okay, now I'm using a shortcut here to show a back button. We can check here back button. So it's just a simple button with lock back label, icon back, and the action associated to the tap action is go to back. So it will go back to the last step. Of course, it's the first one. Yes, of course. And I'm using a shortcut to show a reset all button. What does this mean? We will see it later. We do a reset all action even when we arrive on this step, so on init. We want to clear all the information. Then we have, of course, all the fields. So showing here a label with this style, label header, new person with this icon. I want it to be fixed top position. So as you can see, it's not scrolling. I want this confirm button to be fixed bottom, of course. So I tell the application that I want this to position bottom because I want it always visible. It's a button with a confirmed text. We are going to check this in a brief moment. And look for, of course, we have all the label and the input boxes for all the information. So name bound to model.field with this placeholder, and all the fields are the same. The only difference I can show you is for this field, because of course I want to, for field age, I want the keyboard to be numeric. So here I can write text, and here, of course, I can write a number. You can see that we have the default value for some fields. So, for example, gender equal to M, or country equal to Italy. The only optional information is field address and field phone. They are not required. So let's jump to the button. Okay, so okay, reset all. Reset all. As I said, reset all means that when I tap clear, it's going to reset all the variables that are contained into this step. So, for example, this one is contained and used inside this step, so it's going to clear field name. It's going to clear field surname and every single binding that you can find inside step 2. For example, this step, of course, do not have a binding for people because we used people on the first one. So, of course, it's not going to reset this collection when I tap this reset all. Confirm button. The first action is validate step. It uses the same logic as the reset all. So validate step means that it's going to validate all the variables that I used in this step. So, for example, it gets this this binding field phone, gets the variable inside the dictionary. It's this one, and check if we want to validate. For example, max length 15. Of course, if we do not write any validation here, we do not ask for a validation here, this control does nothing, of course. So it's going to do a step validation. For example, I clear and tap confirm. So field name required, of course. And as I said, it is using this display name to build this automatic message. Field name is required. Field surname is required, and of course, field gender is required, but as a default value, so it's okay. And field age as a minimum value of 18. So we should of course fix this. So okay, it's a person, it's a demo person, male, right? Okay, we can write 15 here. Country, it's okay. Address and phone, I leave it empty. So of course, it's telling me age 15. It's not good. Now it's good. So this step, this validate step action is confirmed and good. So we go to the next because this one is a stopping one. Let's check the programming guide. Validation, validate action, blocking, yes. So if the validate action is not valid, the action flow is stopped, of course. So this is the action flow, of course. So we are asking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actions that gets it executed in sequence, of course. And with validate action, of course, we get a notify to the user, as we saw. I could write something like check step. Check step, it's the same, but it's not notifying the user. It's a silent action. So if it's not valid, we do not see nothing, but we get a stop, of course. So next, we have a prompt. It's a question to the user. Prompt with an alert visual style. This is just a shortcut to visualize this icon, warning icon. And I do not specify the buttons. So the default is yes and no, of course. So if I tap no, the next action is stop when this variable is true. And this variable local option 2 is automatically filled with response from this prompt. We can see it in here. Keyword and namespaces. Local dictionary contains reserved variables to manage particular data and action. So when we use a prompt or any multi-button message, option 1 is true if we tap the first button, option 2 the second one, option 3 the third one. Of course, we can have a maximum of 3 buttons on a prompt. So this is, of course, a stopping action. Let's continue with a yes. When we tap yes, the next one is call UI add person. So we are calling a backend operation. Let's check it without parameters. It's just the name. And the UI add person. Of course, we are using the alias because it's shorter, of course. We are not writing a call and the demo UI person. Of course, as we can see here, the Dynamic-BFF is building our JSON with the entire path, of course, the entire endpoint path. API. Okay, so when we call this, we are going to check. First, we're going to check this field gender through this command assert. So we make this check. Model.field gender is equal to M or is equal to F, and if not, you should stop here and return an error 1 with this message. Allowed values M and F. If the asset is good, of course you should execute this SQL instruction. So it's a simple insert into demo.person with all the fields. So we can put parameters in here and assign these parameters from the model. As I said, the model is always shared with Handheld UI endpoint, so we have access to these fields. Okay, let's go back to the demo. Yes, this one. So if we do not get an error from this call action, we go to the next action. So show message, person saved successfully. OK button is the default behavior of the show action. We can format the layout of this notification. For example, I want to use success icon, and we get this green icon up here. Okay, I tap OK, and of course the last action is go to back. So we want to go back to the first step. Of course, on the first step we ask we put an on init action. So it's loading all the people again. Of course, we have now 11 people. Let's check into the database, of course. A demo person with all the information. Okay, now I show you, of course, the validation backend side. So ABC 18, but I write a simple A in here. Confirm, OK. Now all the data arrived to the backend. This assert, of course, is false because field gender contains A. So we get status code 1, error 1, and we get, of course, this message and a stop, of course. It didn't create a user, of course. OK, clear and back. Now we have Mr. A demo person, age 19, and of course, it's missing the phone information. And demo 4 is done. We have added a form to store a new person. It's good. Now we should jump to demo 5. It's focused on the delete action of the CRUD operation. So we want to add a button to delete a person. So I'm going to show you the view control. That is another way to display information, to display complex information, of course, because we can display a simple string with a label. If we want to show a complex information, a complex object, we can use the view control. So, of course, we want to demo 5, yes. Demo 5. Let's close this one. Don't say it. This one. And this one. And of course, we want to close the menu and UI map. Okay. Well, we can close this one. Okay. Demo 5. Let's jump to the menu. Okay, so we need a button to delete a person. I mean, to delete, of course, the selected person. So we want to delete this field identified by the key, of course. To do this, we want, of course, a dedicated step to open a person and show all the details, of course. We don't want to do this operation on the first step. So for the first step, nothing changes, I guess. Yes, okay. Oh, of course, I removed, of course, the pop-up. I want to tap into a person and open a step, a dedicated step with all the information. So I changed the icon, the template icon. It's in the next. So it's this arrow on the right side. And on top, I want to go to step 2, of course, to show all the information about this user. So in step 2, let's jump into step 2. Okay, I want to see the details about this person. To do this, I use the view control. As I said, view control is like the list one as a template and can show a complex object. So, for example, I want to show model.person.source. So the entire object. It's this one, the same that we showed in the pop-up, of course. And I want to show it with a key value list, of course, as always. And on the header, we are showing this title and this icon, as we can see up here. So we're going to, now we're seeing all the information, this person here. We add, of course, the back button if we want to go back to the first step. And of course, we add a delete button. That's the task for demo 5. So I added this one. It's fixed bottom, as you can see. It's not in the body. This is the label. On top, we want to ask a confirm to the user. So prompt alert delete person. Of course, we can tap no, and we can stop the action when local.option2 is true. Then we call UI del person action, and we show a message to, of course, to notify the user that we deleted the user successfully, and we go back to the main step. So let's check UI del person. It's very simple. Delete from demo person where ID is equal to my ID. My ID, of course, it's the selected person that we selected here on the list. This is the selected person. And of course, we want the key because it's the unique identifier of this record. So this should work. Of course, we are deleting ID 15. Oh, that's an error. Wow. Let's check it. Let's show some debugging. I'm going to log folder. Okay, sort by newest first. This is the last one. Let's go to the end. Okay. Okay, this is the error. So we call this UI backend, UI del person cannot access a closed stream. So it's a communication error, nothing related to the flow, of course. So let's try again. No, not this one. Let's try again from the start. Demo 5. Okay. User deleted successfully. Yeah. And then we go back to the main step. It should hold only 10 people. And of course, person 15 should have been deleted. Yes, that's good. So I think this is all for demo 5, of course. We added the delete function. We want to add the last one, the update function, so the update operation. We want to add a form, and we want to be able to edit person information. So I'm going to show you the print button if we want, for example, print the user with a label. I'm going to show you the visible and hidden configuration. In this way, you can play with a control visibility based on some parameters. And I want to show you the enabled configuration. So we want to enable a field or disable a field based on a parameter. I'm going to show you the action to do some operation that are valid for the backend, and a conditional expression, the if check else, and of course to the on action event. So okay, let's jump into the demo, demo 6. Okay. Okay, we can check. We can check UI edit person. It's really simple, of course. We allow to edit, for example, just the optional information. So, for example, address and phone are optional, and we allow the user to modify just the address and the phone, of course, and we use the ID, of course, to modify the right user. Let's check the flow. I open demo 6. Demo 6. Okay, first step is it's the same. Okay, I'm going to create again person, a demo person. Okay, now it's female, 21, Italy, address and phone. I leave it empty. Save and confirm. Okay, miss a demo person. Now we want to show, of course, the detail of this user as before, as we have done before, with a view template. Let's check it. This is the view template as before. And the only thing that I changed is this person detail. Person detail as the detail for this person. So it's another parameter that contains the detail of this person. And this variable is filled on init with this code. So let's check UI get person. Okay, so we jump into step 2 with this on tap on the list. I'll show you again. So I tap on the list. I go to step 2. So this variable is my user, my selected user, model.person. And on step 2, I call this one. This one is to load all the person detail into this variable. So I do set local.person equal to this get endpoint. I call this get person. It's a simple select. Of course, it's not a list. It's a single record from this ID. And the ID, of course, I take it from the request. That is the query string. Okay, I think we can check it on the. I think we can check it here. Oh, okay. We don't get that here. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Okay. So this is the query string. I want to send to this request a parameter called ID with model.person.key. So I get this key here, and I set this key here to get the person detail. And of course, I want the person detail to be shown with this UI map. So map local.person key ID prefix demo. Of course, I should show you where are all the labels. Yes, we can see it. Let's go to the web UI. So, for example, I'm showing you what does this mean. So, localize demo.fullname becomes full name label, a label with full name. Dictionary. Edit English language. Of course, as we said last Monday, all Handheld labels have a prefix, Handheld.ui. Handheld.ui are the generic one, for example, about. And of course, I created some labels for this demo. So, for example, handheld.ui.demo full name, this one. And on the script, we can write something like prefix demo, and we get this behavior here. And this one, it's translated with this label, of course, in English, because we selected English on the settings in the application. Okay. It was just to show you on label management. This one, get person, get call on init in step 2. So we get person detail filled with all the information about this person. We want to show them with key value list with this title details, this icon on the left, and this time we want to add an action to this template. We can do this telling it that the template action icon is edit. We can see it on the right corner, and the action is the on action with the on action statement. So on action means when I tap this pencil, this icon on the right corner, I want it to do this, all this. So, for example, when I tap edit, the first things is setting as I remind you that this is an endpoint and a backend action. So automatically Dynamic-BFF is creating for this one a proxy controller, a fake one. We didn't define a controller for this action, as you can see. These are all the controller we have. This one is created automatically by Dynamic-BFF, and we call a proxy endpoint and execute all these actions that, of course, are available only on the backend side. So it's going to set this parameter flag new equal to false. This is just a parameter I added to the dictionary with a default value is true. I use this to create a different behavior when we want to add a new user and when we want to edit a user. So if, of course, flag new is equal to false, we are editing a user. Otherwise, when we set flag new to true, we are adding a user. This is done because I want to, of course, I want to use the same step that I showed you before, the one with all the input fields. I want to use the same step. I don't want to duplicate this one. I want to use it to add a new user and to edit a user, of course. So we set flag new to false, then we set all the fields that we used to show on the step 3 with this person information, of course. We are taking them from the source. So the source, as I remember, is the entire object, the original one, without any update, without any change. So, for example, source.name goes into field name, of course. Then we go into step 3. Let's try this. Tap edit. We go into step 3. We get all the information we want, and of course are filled with the data from our user, person, a demo, gender is F, age is 21, country is Italy, of course, the same as the table. Of course, we are editing the user, so I want to allow the user to edit just the optional information, as we said, address and phone. So how can we use this? For example, here on top, I put 2 labels. One is new, and one is edit person. I want to show them based on this parameter. So label new user is visible when model.flag new is true. Label edit user is visible, or better, is hidden when model flag new is true. So of course we are editing this profile. So we can see edit person up here, and we do not see this label that is hidden automatically. The same we can say for enabled when. So field name is enabled when model.flag new is true. So when we are adding a new person, I want to be able to write a field name. Otherwise, I don't want this information to be edited by the user. So as you can see, it's disabled. I cannot click or tap this field. So it's the same for all the fields, of course. But this one, it's editable, of course, because if we jump into address field, I didn't specify enabled when. For this, neither for this, neither or for this. So of course we can write an address, very simple one, address, and a phone, a very simple one, phone. And we can tap save button. So this button as you can see, it's just a simple button, so a single one. We do not have two buttons, one to save and one to edit. So I need, of course, to create a different behavior on the action based on this flag, of course. So we are editing this user. So I can say validate step. It's the same as before. I want this information to be valid if I need. I want this prompt to be shown to the user, as always, confirm data. I want to stop if I tap no, as always. I want to split, to branch this behavior. If check, as we said, it's a conditional expression that gets executed on UI by the UI, by the application. So this is not a fake or proxy controller. This is just checked by the Handheld application because it's a simple test. We want just to test this Boolean flag, model.flag new. It's a simple Boolean flag, so we can do it with the UI. We do not need Dynamic-BFF to do this check. So we're telling it to check this flag. If it's true, we are creating a new user. So of course we call add person and we say save completed. Otherwise, we are calling UI edit person as we saw. It's going to edit just the address and the phone. And then, of course, we want to show edit completed message. So we are editing. So we are here. And let's tap yes. Edit completed. Of course, we are on the else block. Okay. As we can see, here we have, okay, this is step 2. Let's jump back. This one gets executed on init. So we went back to step 2. This one is called and we get the new information, address and the phone number. Of course, let's check our database. Here we are, get this information. And of course, if we go back to the main list, we should not get our phone alert. That's it. This is good. Miss demo person. It's not does not have a warning, as you can see. Okay, and of course about the print action available here. This is just to show you the fixed endpoint that we have at disposal for the printing. This one, and let's close this. We have two endpoints available to manage this button. This button is it's this one. We want to create a print button able to print this one. So person detail.key is it's the ID of the person, 16 in this case. And after the print action, if it's good, we add an on tap action to show this message. We can check, of course, if the print action is an error. Here with the local dictionary, local.print error is true when the print action can be completed for any reason. So if we get an error, of course, in the printer list or with this action, we can check with local.print error if we get an error here. And let's try this. So I have a simple fake printer, of course. It's getting it from here. Printing.printer. We have Handheld training. This is the one, of course, the only one. We can set a number of copies, for example, 4. And we can send this information to the print spooler. For example, let's check. We added 4 copies with ID printer 1 of the printable object ID. It's 16. So we added this 16 ID. Of course, this is done by this simple insert here. That is totally customizable. This one and even this one, of course, it's customizable. Then, of course, we can go back and we can see, of course, that when we tap this new button here, we are on step 1. I added this one. So on top, I want to reset model.flagNew, for example. So the default value is true. So the default behavior is create a new user. So I want to reset this flag and want to go to step 3. When we go to step 3 with this flag enabled, let's check on init. So we move to step 3. If check, so check this simple boolean flag new, it's true, yes, because we are creating new users. So we reset all the fields we are using, because they could contain, for example, the information about the last edited user, of course. So I want to these fields to be empty, of course, when I go here. So we can add again a simple user 25 ABC 23. Oh, that's no communication error again. Okay. Let's check for 12 record. That's good. Okay. Yes, 12 records, Mr. BA. And that's it for demo 6. We added the update capability to our flow. So this is all for the demo. I can give you some ideas here to improve this these examples that you, of course, got with the package that we shared with you last week. For example, you could add the uncompleted event on the barcode field in the first step. So we want to search for a specific user, and we want to automatically open the details going into the second step. So, for example, we are here. We write, for example, an ID, a valid ID, for example, 16. And of course, when I write 16, the application filters the list, but nothing happens. So if I tap this blue icon, that is the completed action for the keyboard, nothing happens. We can catch this event. Let's go check the programming guide. Barcode uncompleted. So uncompleted is that event. So we write uncompleted with a series of actions. And when we tap this blue icon here, we get these actions are executed, of course. And this one is also available for the filtered list, of course. So let's jump to the list. Filter. Oh, no. Here we go. This one, uncompleted event, is able to catch this event when we use a filterable list, of course. So we can add this one. So if we write an ID that we know, we can open directly the second step, as if we are clicking or tapping in the item. Or, for example, you could try to add multiple selection feature for this people list. So we can add the capability to select and delete multiple items together. This is done, for example, with the selection mode option that you can see here. So if we set selection mode multi, we are enabling, as we saw last Monday, we are enabling multiple selection. And of course, we can can use all the selected items in a backend operation using this local variable, filtered items or data context. Data context contains the item you just selected. Of course, it can be a single item or a multiple one if you use multiple selection mode. Filtered items instead contains the subset, the items that are currently filtered in the list, of course. So in this case, I write the filtered items. It's these two items, and filter is this text up here. This filter, of course, we can use with local dictionary to check. And okay, jump back to the presentation. For example, you could add a timer-based event on the detail page. So, for example, okay, let's clear this one. I can enter here and I can add a timer event to poll the database and update this information at regular interval. If you want to find information about this on the programming guide, you can check context, yes. Oh, no context, no step. Step context. Context button. And oh no, sorry, that's an event, not a step, of course. Events, yes, and timer event. So you need to write something like this. You can write something like this and timer. We can do this to show you. Let's put this on step 2. Okay. Yes, it's the one. So let's check the programming guide. We write on timer, then we write interval with an integral number that's in seconds, and we write an action. Okay. So for example, you can write on timer interval 5. Yeah, close. Timer event. Close timer event. Okay. Let's restart Dynamic-BFF. Yes, and that's good. Okay, let's go back to the main menu. It's getting the new configuration. So demo 6. Step 2, we wait 5 seconds, which you'll see a toast down here. Timer event. Okay, after 5 seconds, so this goes on indefinitely. We can stop a timer when we can change this step. Of course, if I go back, the timer is disposed, of course. On this one was just a simple example, and of course you can add different sections. These are just ideas. Different section on detailed steps. For example, you can add personal information tab, address tab, and then you can add context buttons. For example, all context button down here to change this tab. So you can play with show and hide to show and or hide these controls to show different informations if you want. So these are just some ideas. Of course, if you want to play with this Dynamic-BFF and then Handheld application, feel free to contact me if you need help to to play a bit with these examples. Now I would like to show you a quick overview. In fact, is a quick list, of course, of all the release flows. Let's zoom in a bit. So at the current release 1.1, Handheld application comes configured with these flows. So this is a quick list. We can change. I can show you the menu, changing. We can close everything here. Demo 6 revert changes, of course, and up settings. Okay, now we are loading develop training folder. Let's go back to release mode. So it's common and SDN folder inside the release one. Yes, this is the one. Okay, let's run Dynamic-BFF. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's load the new menu. Completely different one. Of course, this is the release one. And these are the flows available with BFF. I'll just list you briefly the flows. So, for example, the simplest one is Handheld inventory with this permission, and it's flow 1.1 and flow 1.5 handling unit. This is allowed to, for example, to type or scan handling unit barcode and see all the details. For example, let's go to the web UI layout. Okay, zoom in a little. This one completely alone. Okay, so for example, I can write this one. 684 101. Okay, so I get all the information of the handling unit, and I get all the information of the handling unit details or handling unit part with this list. That has an expandable behavior, of course. So it's 622 and 929, as we can see here. We can open detail of this stock unit part or handling unit part, for example, like this. We can clear or print. This is just the simplest flow available on the application. So I'm going really quick with the others. Of course, the scope of this training is not to analyze in very deeply all these flows. So just know that we can get the detail of a location with all the handling unit present in that location, or we can, for example, do some put away task. So we can select an handling unit and move it to a new destination by user, so without the system behind, or by system, so that the system can suggest a new destination using the put away conditions that we defined. Of course, we have all the flows to manage. That's on the next slide. So we have free flows to manage shipments, so we can verify that all the handling units assigned to a shipment are present in the staging area. We can replace damaged handling unit in a staging area before it gets shipped, of course. We can carry out manual truck loading of all the handling units that are present in a staging area, scanning a handling unit and the destination doctor, or for example, as I said earlier, quality and logistic. So, for example, we can perform quality status management on handling units, load dates, pins, patches, and perform logistic block management on handling units with these flows. And of course, we have a menu dedicated to the picking, the case picking. This gets installed only if we have picking on a system. So when we install the picking service, this folder here is added to the setup, and we get, of course, the picking menu that is made of 2 flows. That of course allowed to manage picking groups and tasks and to resume a suspended picking group. We are not going into details of all these flows, but I want to show you a simple demo now to modify, for example, this one. So as I showed you, we can check handling unit details doing this. I'd like to add, I will try now to add a flow that is able to do this operation, this destroy one. Okay, so I want to be able to do this. I want a button to destroy a handling unit. A note is required. Okay, I write a note to save with this operation, and I confirm this one. So this handling unit should disappear. Okay, I want to add this functionality into the Handheld. Let's try to add it. Okay, I can close this one and this one. So first things first, I want to modify the menu. Yeah. No, cool. I'm going to create flow 122. And link unit destroyed. As an icon, I want to use warning one. Okay, so if I restart, let's talk a bit about syntax errors. So let's restart Dynamic-BFF like this. I just added flow 122, and I forgot to add the real flow. So Dynamic-BFF is telling me unknown flow defined in menu Handheld inventory menu F122. Okay, so it's telling me to that I forgot to add, of course, the flow. So let's do flow is a perfect copy of the handling unit 1. So I'm going to copy this one, destroy. It's a simpler, of course, very simple version of the handling unit details. So we don't need this comment. Title is handling unit destroy. We need an LPN to scan. Of course, we need handling unit details. We don't want anything about stock unit part. So let's leave it like this. We have just a simple step to show the information. So no restart button, no print, reset all, it's good. Barcode, that's good. Barcode is calling this backend operation, stock unit details. Let's go check. It should be okay. It's this one. So it's loading a stock unit from the LPN, of course, that we typed into the box. One is this one. Simple select on the inventory stock unit folder table with this, of course, request.lpn, and that is good. Okay, let's leave it like this. We do not need to modify. So Informations that we get back are all inside a handling unit details. We get stock unit, a short version stock unit, and the list of stock unit parts. We don't bother about this. So let's leave it like this. This is good. So var code, okay. Okay, we want, of course, a view to show the details. That is good. And oh no, okay, this is the help text icon to show this one. I'll show you. So it's this template here, help text icon. It's just an helper to the user. It's this icon and this text, scan or insert. So it's useful to tell the user what it should do. So it's okay. View handling unit. This one just contains all the information. We do not want to use a threshold. Simple key value list. Okay. And of course, we do not want anything related to handling unit details. So, okay, so let's check. First, let's check if this is okay. It should be enough to show simplified copies of the handling unit flow. Let's check. Okay, that's good. Let's go back to the menu. Inventory, handling unit destroy, of course. No restart button, no print, just clear and the barcode. This one should just work the same as before. Let's check. Yes, okay. So we removed the template, the threshold key value list. So it's just a simple key value list. So it's showing all the values. That's good. Okay. Okay, just stop. Okay, we should add this button down here. So we want to add a button called destroy, and we should, of course, add this text here, the notes, because it's mandatory. So what we could do is something like this. I have some saved some time. I have prepared a little script here. Let's analyze this. So I've added a label with notes asterisk because it's mandatory. Of course, this label should be visible only when we have a detail about a handling unit. So, of course, before we scan something, this should be hidden. We give it a style, a title style, and we want it to be fixed bottom. Under this control, we want an input box, destroy nodes, and this one, of course, must be bound to a model field. This model field, for example, could have this name. And of course, it's required. Let's check if it has a max length. So the operation we are going to call is this. We can check here that we are going to send this nodes field and has a maximum length of 255. So, okay, let's put this here, max length. Okay. We have this field for the nodes. This field, of course, it's visible when we have a detail about handling unit. This field is is bottom as the label, of course. Under this, we have a button, of course, button destroy handling unit with this cut destroy text, visible when we have a handling unit. Bottom on tap, we want to validate nodes, of course, because we said it that it's required. We want an alert to confirm the operation. We could customize the buttons. Let's go check into the programming guide, for example, how can we do this? Actions. Yes, it's a prompt. So notify prompt message format. Okay, so we should write something like this. We can add a title, an icon. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. Format and title. Be sure about this. Warning. Option 1, 2, 3 for the button. So option. Let's check. It's just option with the text. Okay, good. Option. Yes. Where? No, abort. Okay, this should work. Of course, we stop when we tap no abort, and then we can call this backend operation, and then we can use this complete action to exit or restart the flow. This is automatically shows a prompt to the user to restart again or complete. So going to main menu. Let's check this one. What is? Of course, we should add this one. I have it ready here. So stock unit destroy. So we need to call this store procedure. We saw it earlier. Remove stock units from warehouse. It's taking an ID list, so it can remove multiple handling units. We call it so it this local handling unit IDs. I'm just building here very simple list. So I want to write a list with a simple object inside this one, with a single field ID, and the content of the ID is, of course, the key. So we want the ID of the handling unit. So model.handling unit details, stock unit, and key. It's a simple list with a single object inside with a single field. And that is good for this type IDs list. Then we can set all the other parameters as needed, of course, so we can just ignore all these fields. The one we want to point out, of course, it's model.nodes that we input on the text box, and it's mandatory. And we can get the username. This is just used to log this operation inside the journaling. And we are going to use request.out.username. Username, of course, it's this one. Okay, so we stopped Handheld. We stopped Dynamic-BFF, so it can't work. So username, of course, it's the login username. We get it always ready with this special namespace request.out. Okay, so let's check if this one compiles and run. Of course not. It's getting an error, so okay, let's debug a bit. row 64. Unexpected keyword prompt, expected end. So I probably should not use alert when I want to use format, because I'm defining my format, my custom format, so I can't use this. Let's check if this one is good. Yes. So the error, of course, was the use of alert, that it's a shortcut to define this format. So we cannot define format twice, of course. Okay, now we are good. Let's check what happens on the application. Okay. This one, it's request.out.username. So we have a new flow. We want to scan an handling unit. Okay, so let's check. We have added label notes asterisk. It's visible when this handling unit is has been scanned. Of course, we have an input box with destroy notes as a placeholder, and we have the button, of course. This one is mandatory, so if destroy notes is required, is using the display destroy notes and this validation. Okay, that's good. I'm going to call it rem. Okay, so we have the prompt here because validate it's good. So confirm and destroy handling unit, it's a body. We have the title, be sure about this. The warning icon, yes, I'm aware, no abort as the option. So of course I can tap no, stop when local dot option 2. And of course I can tap yes, handling unit destroyed, and it should be okay. It's disappeared. So the flow worked expectedly, and we can, of course, this is the standard, the complete action. So I write something like this: complete handling unit destroyed. I get a prompt with the success icon on top, this message, and two buttons. One is to start again, and one is to go to menu. So if I tap start again, we just get back to step one. Of course, in this case, it's the only one. Or we can go back to the menu. Of course, this if we add operation that are risky, so dangerous operation like this, for example, destroy a handling unit, we could want to allow this operation only for defined users. For example, this one is not a permission. Let's go to the menu. I didn't specify here a permission for this flow. So the entire submenu is available if we have a handheld inventory. Let's go check this one, this permission. Settings. We are logged with hhadmin. This one. This one is an administrator. So, for example, I created another user called hhsuperv. It's a supervisor. We could check the permission or permission associated to these roles. For example, administrator has access to handle the inventory, put away, shipment, and quality. I created a custom permission for this example. It's this one, handle the inventory destroy. So administrator has access to this permission, and supervisor, it's not granted this permission. We do not see here, and then the inventory destroys. So, for example, if we want just the admin to use this flow, we can, of course, limit our flow with this permission that we should put as the first statement, of course. Let's restart and see if this is good. Okay, we do not have syntax error. I'm going to do a logout. I'm going to use as my admin as before. We should have handling unit destroy available. Okay, that's good. Let's check with the supervisor. A super V. Okay, no flow available for us because we do not have permission to do this dangerous task, and that's good. Okay, so I think I have done everything I got for the examples. So thanks for your attention. Of course, if you have questions, ask freely. And if you do not have questions, we are done, I guess. Okay, I guess there are no questions.
Sorry. Sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
I have a question. Maybe you already covered it the last meeting, but I don't remember. Do you have any good practice for debugging? I mean, for example, if I put an extra char in a script or anything, something like that, you should always look at the output when you start the Dynamic-BFF, or there's other ways to check while I'm programming.
No, at the moment we do not have other ways to debug Dynamic-BFF. So of course you can check the console, or you can check the standard logs folder.
Okay, the one you show in the Android device, right?
Oh, that's the one for Android. So
Okay.
for Dynamic-BFF, you are getting all the logs inside. If I remember well, no, it's here. This should be the standard base folder for all logs.
Okay.
Of the service. So inside this folder, you will find a folder named Dynamic-BFF, and in that one you will find all this. And of course, we tried to add all the possible checks at syntax level to help writing something, but this is a very hard task to write syntax controlling and error handling with a custom parser and a custom syntax. So not always you will find a very useful error, but more or less you should be able to debug everything quite good.
Oh. Okay, just another question. Last time you talked about like a tool to colorize the language. Because if you can share with us how to get it.
Yes, let me check
if very, very helpful.
Yes, I know. Let me check if I put it inside this folder that you got. Oh, okay. So I will share it right now here in the chat. I think I shared it last week in the last event. Yes, it's this one. If you install this extension or on your Visual Studio Code,
Okay.
you should see something like this: Smile 80 DSL token highlighter from the Smile 80 DSL, and it's automatically enabled. If not, you just enable here. And when you open a dot source file, you should see like this. Of course, we will try to keep this updated because when new keywords are created, this one must be updated to show, for example, this keyword with this color. And yes, that's it. Thanks for pointing this out. And okay, I forgot to show you this. Just a curiosity about code generation examples. I just showed you the demo one. If you are curious about how much Dynamic-BFF is able to save you your time, release flows, so common folder and STM folder, we are talking about something like a little more than 3,000 lines of code. And this one is what gets generated by Dynamic-BFF. So this is the C#. It's about almost 10,000 lines of code ready for us. And the JSON configuration used by application with all the menus and of course all the flows that I just showed to you. It's about 10,000 rows. So as you can see, you just write just the business logic. Everything else is done and made by Dynamic-BFF and the Handheld application. So should help you a lot. And I think that's all. If you do not have other questions, I guess that these questions here in the chat got answered by Mattia. If not, please tell me. Okay. So, okay.
Roberto, thank you.
Yes.
I think that since it's a new, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Since it's a new programming language, of course, there's no chance to do like some exercise section since no one is, I think no one already learned, the syntax and be capable of doing some
Not
exercise.
simple.
Yeah. So I don't know if there could be like a future exercise session with the prerequisite of learning the syntax first, something like that, maybe.
I think that this could be really useful, and I think that also could be really useful to do a brief showcase of all the release flows that we skipped today, because it would take too long. And of course, when this application will be used on some project in the near future, or maybe this year, I think this could be really useful to understand primarily what the Handheld application is capable of. And we could do, of course, more detailed or complex exercises together if you want.
Yes, of course.
I will be available.
Under the condition of having studied and learned
Yeah,
the syntax
programming
first.
guide it's of course it's heavy and it's full of information. So I guess it will take some time for you all to understand or get a grasp about this. But that's the idea.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess that's all for this session, and see you to the next one. Have a nice day, and thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.